Let's talk about the dreaded weight loss plateau. If you're trying to lose weight, I don't think there's anything worse than being stuck. Because here you are, you feel like you're doing all the right things, you lose weight at the beginning, then boom, you're in weight loss plateau city. And unfortunately, most people get stuck there. Or worse, they never get out, they start trending the opposite way, and they start putting all the weight back on that they initially lost. Sound familiar? In this video, I'm gonna show you 5 ways on how to break through your weight loss plateau so you can start losing weight again. And more importantly, keep it off for good. These are the exact same tips that I give to all my students, and they've all gotten to see some amazing results. So you know it works. Before we get started, give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video every week. Real talk. If you want to break through your weight loss plateau, the first thing you need to do is you need to have an honest conversation with yourself. This is called intellectual honesty. A person is being intellectually honest when he or she, knowing the truth, states the truth. You need to be honest with yourself. Because if you're not, I could give you the best information on the planet, and I will, but if you're in denial about some of the things that you're doing, or you're just unwilling to change, it's not gonna work. It's just not. You're only gonna be cheating yourself. So step number 1 is to take responsibility for your actions. The sooner you can admit this to yourself, the sooner you're gonna break through your weight loss plateau. What I mean is, the faster you can admit to yourself that it's my fault. I'm obviously doing something wrong. Now, how do we fix this? The faster you're gonna start losing weight again. Cool? You need to ask yourself 5 key questions, and you need to be intellectually honest when you answer them. Question number 1. Have you made enough changes to your diet? I want to start with this because I see this come up in a lot of the comments in my videos. And they usually fall somewhere along the lines of, I'm doing this type of intermittent fasting schedule. And if you're new, I talk about intermittent fasting a lot on my channel. It's awesome. You should try it. But let's say you're doing it and you're not losing weight. And I usually ask these people, and I try my best to reply to as many comments as I can. What do you eat? What's your diet like? It's also the exact same thing when people get their workouts in, they get their 10,000 steps every day, they go to the gym every day, but they're not losing weight. And the common theme is they'll say, I still eat this and I still eat that. They still eat bread, rice, fruit every day. They're basically still eating the same food, but just less of it. Here's the plain, honest truth about this. You cannot keep eating the same stuff that got you here. You can't keep eating the same food over and over again, expecting a different outcome just because you're eating less of it. That is the definition of insanity. As an every once in a while treat? Absolutely, but not every day. Rice and bread are perfect examples of this. It's a big part of everyone's diets, whether you're Asian, North American, or you're from Latin America, or wherever. You're probably eating a derivative of grains, which again is bread and rice. But if that got you to a point where you're overweight, you just can't keep eating it. It cannot be part of your daily diet. I just think it's lame when people say, I grew up eating this, I grew up eating rice. So, change. I'm Asian, I grew up eating rice. I also had a dad bod because of it, so I don't eat it every day anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, you need to let go of your old identity so you can make room for this new and more awesome version of yourself to emerge. You have to make space in your life for change. And you do that by actually committing to changing your diet. Stop with the thinking that everything in moderation is okay. It's not. Because it goes both ways. So you're also basically saying that obesity and moderation is okay. Question number 2. Are you still drinking diet soda, or are you using artificial sweeteners, or both? This is a big one for a lot of people because in theory, this is the dream. You're putting stuff in your body that's 0 calories. So we drink it guilt-free, we go to town on it, and it quickly turns into a nightmare because I can almost guarantee that this will stop your weight loss goals on its tracks. But maybe you already know that diet soda is not good for you. But then you discover stevia and Zevia, which is just a soda that's sweetened with stevia, same thing, and you think you've just hacked weight loss. And I always like to say that there are levels to this. The higher you get, the better. For example, if you're addicted to Coke and then you switch to Diet Coke, that is a step in the right direction, albeit a very small step. Then you switch to Zevia and then you start putting stevia in your coffee. That's great. That's actually gonna get you pretty far if we're being honest here. But it doesn't mean that it's optimal, because once you hit that dreaded weight loss plateau again, and you just can't seem to get rid of those last 5 or 10 pounds, all artificial sweeteners needs to go from your diet, especially when you drink this stuff while you're intermittent fasting. Why? Because it breaks your fast. So think about that for a second. You're fasting, you think you're doing good, but you drink diet soda or Zevia or you put stevia in your coffee, you're actually inadvertently breaking your fast every time you drink this stuff. So there was actually a study done where they had subjects taste artificial sweeteners in their mouths and spit it out. It didn't even enter their system. They didn't swallow it. When they measured their plasma insulin levels, the taste of artificial sweeteners was enough to trigger an insulin response. And when you trigger an insulin response, that breaks your fast and your body now shifts into fat storing mode. Because when you taste something sweet, your brain gets the signal that food is coming in. So it then sends a signal to your pancreas to start producing insulin in anticipation of all the food that's about to come in. But because there's actually no food coming in from these non-nutritive sweeteners, your brain gets confused. So it sends even stronger signals through hunger for you to eat something. Notice how you always get hunger pangs every time you drink a can of Diet Coke or you put artificial sweeteners in your coffee an hour or two later? This is why. Plus, and this is really important, diet soda and artificial sweeteners destroys your gut microbiome. The gut is basically your second brain. We simply did not evolve to drink this stuff. Our Paleolithic ancestors never drank diet soda or used artificial sweeteners, and we're still genetically identical to them. Our gut microbiome simply did not evolve to process this stuff. It's completely foreign to the human body. That's why diet soda and artificial sweeteners is often linked to obesity instead of weight loss. Diet Coke, for example, was only invented in 1982. And I totally understand if you have some reluctance about this because I used to be addicted to stevia. I would put 3 packets in my morning coffee every day and I usually drank 2 cups. I was also stuck. I couldn't seem to lose those last 5 pounds. It was the last thing to go for me as well. And when I finally gave it up, the weight also came off. Number 3, are you still eating snacks? I mentioned this a couple of times already, but again, if you're new to my channel, insulin is your storing hormone. Every time you eat, your insulin goes up. Your body shifts into fat storing mode. And when your insulin levels are high, you cannot access your fat stores and burn it for energy. You just can't. It gets locked away, and insulin is the key. A lot of experts consider insulin the master hormone in the human body because it's the hormone that controls your body weight. That's why intermittent fasting is so effective for weight loss, because it keeps your insulin levels at baseline. And you're then able to tap into your almost unlimited fat stores and burn it for energy. Unless, of course, you're inadvertently breaking your fast by drinking diet soda and using artificial sweeteners. Snacking then is the complete opposite of fasting because it puts your body in fat storing mode all day. Your insulin never gets a chance to get back down to baseline. Just when it's on its way down from your last meal, but then you eat again an hour or two later, there it is again. Another insulin spike. This, by the way, is why people don't lose weight even though they're on a severe calorie deficit, but they're grazing on food all day. You never get out of fat storage mode, and your fat store still gets locked away even though you're barely eating anything. The other problem with snacking as well is we usually don't snack on the healthiest stuff. We usually snack on candy, chips, chocolate, flavored yogurt, rice chips, granola bars, protein bars, or fruit. And we'll talk about fruit in a second. And snacking is usually a sign that you're not satiated from your last meal, or maybe you're just bored. And if you're trying to lose weight, you should probably distract yourself with something else that doesn't involve you shoving food in your mouth. But let's just say that you're not satiated and you're hungry. The next question is, are you eating enough fat? Because of the fat phobia that's been ingrained in our heads since basically the 80s, fat is usually something that we try to avoid like the plague up to this day. Like, I get anxiety every time I hear somebody order a skinny vanilla latte with like 5 pounds of sugar-free vanilla whenever I'm at Starbucks. And a lot of people are still under the belief that fat makes you fat because it's calorically dense. They think that it's gonna clog up your arteries and it's gonna give you a heart attack. No, no, and no. You should check out this video where I debunk that fat phobia myth completely. Listen, fat and cholesterol, which also gets a bad rap, is essential to every cellular function in your body. Fat also plays a key role when it comes to your satiety because it activates cholecystokinin, which is one of your key satiety hormones. Think about a nice juicy piece of ribeye steak, for example. It's very hard to overeat it because your satiety hormones gets activated from eating fats and protein, which then sends a signal to your brain that you're full. You can stop eating now. And if you're still scared of fat, they've done multiple overfeeding studies where the subjects ate an excessive amount of calories just to see what would happen, just to put this fat phobia myth once and for all. Sam Feltham is one of the more popular ones to do this. He ate a mind-blowing 5,794 calories every day for 21 days. That's almost 3 times the amount of the daily recommended calories for men. More importantly, his diet consisted of a low-carb, high-fat diet of natural foods. In theory, he was supposed to gain 16 pounds of fat if we're using the standard calories in versus calories out model, which just happens to be the default weight loss model for a lot of people. Like, everyone just screams to just go on a calorie deficit if you want to lose weight, right? Well, this is the opposite. But after 21 days of eating 5,794 calories every day, he only gained 2.8 pounds. But more importantly, he dropped more than an inch off his waist. So he gained weight, but it was lean muscle mass. And you can bet that he was fully satiated from eating almost 6,000 calories every day. And if you want to know more about this, you should check out this video where I debunk the calories in versus calories out myth completely. Just remember that weight loss, in its very essence, is not about counting calories. It's about controlling hunger. And fat is an unbelievably powerful tool to turn off hunger. And it's delicious. So don't be scared of it. Number 5. Are you still eating healthy-ish food? Oh, this is a big one. And I want to talk specifically about fruit. Again, there are levels. If you replace Doritos with a banana, that's a great first step, but that really only gets you so far. Because fruit somehow gets a health halo from a lot of people, especially fruitarians. I don't even know why that's a thing. But again, this has been ingrained for decades now that fruit is a health food. It isn't. Let me explain. The biggest drawback of eating fruit all the time, like every day, is the type of sugar in it called fructose, which your liver can only process. And unlike glucose, like whenever you eat carbs, your body turns it to glucose, by the way, which then causes an immediate spike in your blood sugar levels. Fructose instead causes a low rise in blood sugar levels because, again, your liver has to process it first. For example, if you eat rice, bread, oatmeal, or cereal for breakfast, or if you're someone who uses natural sugars like honey or maple syrup, same thing. And then you eat a banana or an apple to finish off your meal. Your body converts all those carbs into immediate usable energy, which again is glucose. So you get an immediate blood sugar spike from that. But then you also get a delayed blood sugar spike from the fructose in the banana or apple because, again, your liver is the only thing that can process fructose. And that's where it gets bad because that means that your body is always producing insulin. And chronically high insulin levels leads to something called insulin resistance. And 88% of American adults have some form of metabolic dysfunction or insulin resistance, by the way, which then opens you up to all sorts of disease, including diabetes, obesity, cancer, and cardiovascular disease, just to name a few. All you really need to know about fructose, which again is the type of sugar in fruit, is that it's extremely lipogenic. Lipogenic means it's fattening. Think about how our ancestors ate fruit back in the day. And I always go back to this because we're still genetically identical to them. We are the product of 2.5 million years of evolution. Back then, they would come across seasonal berries, for example, and they would eat it to fatten themselves up for winter. They inherently knew that fruit was fattening. They would fatten themselves up so they could live off those fat stores in the winter when food was scarce. And that's another point that I want to make is that fruit back then was only available seasonally. Now, fruit is available all year round. Every time I work with my students and they have a lot of objection about this at first, they're kicking and screaming because they don't want to give up fruit, but they're also stuck. They all show one constant thing. The less fruit they ate, the more weight they lost. One last thing about fruit. The fruit that is available for us today is nothing like the fruit that our ancestors ate back in the day. You're eating something that's genetically modified to be bigger and sweeter. You're eating genetically modified food. A strawberry, for example, at your local grocery store looks nothing like how it looked back then. That looks like a mutated strawberry. All it's missing are arms and legs. Just think of fruit as nature's version of candy. You already know that you should not be eating candy every day if you're trying to lose weight. Fruit is honestly no different. Other than avocado and seasonal berries, fruit just can't be part of your daily diet. I would consider it more as a weekly treat. The biggest takeaway here is that intellectual honesty is extremely important if you want to successfully break through your weight loss plateau. You have to be extremely honest with yourself and you need to start operating from outside of your current sphere of knowledge because everything you want, including your weight loss goals, is outside of it. The next question then becomes, how are you actually supposed to eat if you want to lose weight? Because here's the thing, 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. You can't just freestyle this part. Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my lean body blueprint. This is how I melted all the fat around my stomach without depriving myself of my favorite foods or wasting hours at the gym. It's a simple 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals, and it's the exact same blueprint that I teach to all my private coaching clients, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's going to be a link somewhere at the top here or in the description box. Just click on it, type in your email, and I'll send it to you right away. All right, that's all I've got. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week. And hey, leave a comment below if you have any questions about this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. First, a high five.